Welcome back, everyone, to a Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and this afternoon I'm joined by Chris McElwain and Sean Connolly. It's half-time, it's Celtic 2 and Hibs 1. Chris, what do you make of the first half?
Yeah, I think we should be further ahead, put it that way. But I think overall, really pleased with the quality of some of the football. Some of the one-touch play, the speed, the pace of the movement, very forward-thinking. I think it's been excellent. Maeda's playing absolutely superbly up there. I mean, for a guy of his kind of diminutive stature, he's not the biggest guy, but he's playing almost as a target man. His ability to bring the ball down, his first touch, his movement, playing really, really well. I'm really impressed, actually, with his performance overall. I think he's linking up very well with the wingers. And actually, interestingly enough, I think while Matt O'Reilly is having a relatively quiet game by his standards, Hatate's actually stepped up and is playing extremely, extremely well. Some of his movement and actually his link-up play with Maeda has been superb. Disappointed to concede the goal, set piece, but I give credit where it's due. It was an excellent header, although I think we could have defended it a lot better. The penalty decision, I think if that happens at Hambrooks, it's probably a goal. It's probably a penalty.
What did you call it? Hambrooks?
Hambrooks, yeah.
There's a few different terms to be used.
Yeah, I'm going to refer to it as Hambrooks for the moment. But yeah, I think if that incident occurs at Hambrooks, it's probably a penalty. But you know what, you win some, you lose some, so I'm not going to complain too much on that. I was actually more upset at Carter Vickers getting a booking for what to me looked like a clear 50-50 challenge. So
he's gone into the guy's back. The guy wins the header, and Carter Vickers has wiped him out. It's a clear yellow card.
What I like,
Chris, to disagree on that one.
About the half-time, what I do like about the half-time and full-time when Sean's on is he knows a lot more about refereeing than I do. So what I tend to do, I pass the buck. I'll just throw it over to Sean and go, what did you think of that? And there's a few moments, I think, in the first half where I can do that. But I want to start off with the positives because let's not forget, first 35 minutes, Sean, perhaps, I thought we were in total control. Some of the passages of play were brilliant to watch. Like Chris was saying, the passing from Hatate, Kuhn, in the mood, Maeda getting a couple of goals. It was brilliant stuff, and hopefully we can click back into that gear.
I thought in the first 20 minutes in particular, Kuhn was absolutely sensational. Even apart from the assist he gets for the second goal, there was just like he puts there was just balls he was putting in behind. He puts the ball in for Hatate, who finds Maeda for the first goal. Kuhn was looking excellent. But then in the last kind of 10 minutes of the half, when Hibs started to get on top, he started to look like he kind of reverted to type a little bit, which was that he comes inside and takes too many touches. And sometimes I wonder, like when he puts that ball in for Maeda, look at his position, right? He's on the touchline, like he's chalking his boots, as they say. And he's pulled the centre back out, he's pulled the wing back out, and that's created the space for Maeda. And then when he's coming in on that corner of the box, there's just congestion. And it's not a criticism. It's like, I don't know, we just need to be smart enough to work around that. And it was curious about, we're talking about Maeda being a striker. There was times where Forrest was in the middle and Maeda was the man out wide. They were just kind of swapping about quite freely. And it was, it was working in a sense, but I do, like the ball in behind the Hibs fullback Miller does seem to be working to an extent, but then there's the one in the 45th minute there just before it ticks over into injury time where Maeda gets in behind and he shows why he's not a natural instinctive striker, where he takes two touches and the second touch is a bad one and the defence recovers it. So I don't want to give him a hard time. He was really great in the first 20 minutes. Those two goals were great goals. They're not pinging it in from 25 yards, but they're great movement and good finishes, knowing where the keeper is and knowing what to do. We deserved to be 2-1. Absolute flatters Hibs. They had nothing until that goal. Sensational header, to be fair. But as you say, Chris, somebody needs to be putting pressure on him.
Yeah,
playing defence, amateur, and it doesn't matter if you win the header or not. You need to be body to body, and that just it makes it harder to direct the header. He had nobody anywhere near him, and he's just like, even then, it's still a very difficult header to score from the distance he's at. But like, yeah, you need to be body to body, and that stops that. You don't even need to win the header, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be focusing on positives, but then looking at why it's so tight at halftime, because we were so on top and dominant. And I think that there's always a couple of different discussions that happen, regardless of how well we're playing. And one of them it is always around Liam Scales. And I've got two comments that give you the two ends of the scale. First one comes in from Plunge. We need to upgrade Scales. He's our weak spot. Jungle Line says Scales is doing grand. Guys, I don't sit here like one of these analysts and get every single bit of data from a game. I'm watching it like everybody else, just taking some notes for discussion. But I only, correct me if I'm wrong, please do, but I can only remember one time when Scales lost the ball cheaply. I could be wrong in that. But I do think that he is often the fall guy when anything happens. I mean, you look at the goal. What part did Scales play in that goal? I totally agree with Sean. We've got to make it harder for the guy. But what a goal. Sometimes you've got to say, that was a cracking goal. Henrik Molasse, training ground goal for Hibs, unstoppable once he gets it. But try and make it a bit harder for him to get on the end of it. Scales does get it tight, doesn't he, Chris? I mean, I think he's played pretty well in the first half. CCV doesn't tend to get any kind of focus to the same degree, does he?
No, he doesn't. And actually, it's interesting. The goal, I think the closest of our two central defenders is actually Carter Vickers to the Hibs player. I think O'Reilly was maybe the man who was tracking back and trying to get close, but we didn't have either player close enough. But certainly you couldn't attribute any of the... I mean, it was, let's be fair, there are very few negatives from a Celtic standpoint in that first half, right? Yeah. Okay, we lost a goal. I agree, it was kind of a training ground goal. We've never actually been the best team at defending set pieces, let's be honest, for a number of years now. But in no way can you attribute any of the very limited negative points in that first half to Liam Scales. He's doing his job today. He's not done anything without doing anything, amazing in the game. He's doing his job. He's solid. And I think across the pitch, I think we've been largely very, very impressive. And I'm quite pleased with what I've seen. I agree with Sean. I think, for all the good stuff Maira's doing, I'd like to see us be a little bit more clinical. But that's not just restricted to him. I mean, there's a great opportunity for Matt O'Reilly to open his body up and curl one in, and he just kind of rolls it to the keeper. We've seen, Jamesy Forrest running in, obviously the chance for the penalty. I would like him to probably have fired one in a bit sooner than he gets taken down. But look, it's overall a good first half. We're in the lead. I'm still not viewing Hibs at this moment in time as posing much of a threat. I just hope we don't go into the same situation we had last week, where we have a really high intensity, really positive first half, and then we really drop off in the second half. For me, there's nothing to this performance to go and build on and continue in the second half, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, Sean, in a wee second about a couple of decisions that were made in that first half. Before I do that, let's have a look at some of these comments. Scott, how long till we see Ida? That's going to be a big, bright moment of the second half, isn't it, when the big man comes on?
Well, you heard his reception just when he was out training. Yeah, he was out warming up. That was incredible. So yeah.
Apparently, the jersey that had been prepared, the new jersey, by the way, that takes us on to a conversation that Sean and I had just before we went live with the pre-batch. Back in the day, right, the kids with the new jersey, they were the cool cats, right? And if you had the old jersey, Sean, dearie me, man, you need to get yourself together. You never used to see the old retro jerseys at the games. Now, if you're wearing a new jersey, you're a new kit, you can fill in the blank at the end. I was just wondering, Chris, if you had the old shin guards and everything on there.
I don't. I'm not doing the whole John Terry thing now. I don't know the whole kit. Listen, this is the first new kit I've bought in a couple of years. Okay, so I didn't buy the one last year because I wasn't keen on it. I bought the last year's third kit for my wee boy, but I didn't buy I did buy the anniversary kit though. I'm not going to lie. I bought the anniversary kit because I like that one.
No wonder.
I like the green stripes.
Yeah, so there.
It's the first one I've bought in a few years. I've really liked. I do like this one. I have to admit.
I didn't buy last season's home jersey, but Lloyd, Acsom's very own Lloyd, gifted me the jersey. So I will wear it at some point on the show. The reason I brought up the jersey is Celtic's marketing team had that jersey printed up for Ida for about 3 weeks, I think. So yes, it'll be good to see him coming on. I'm going to be asking Sean all about this, Doc 88, about the penalty. George Nicholson's also saying Rangers would have got it. And yeah, I'm going to just come straight to you then. In terms of the Jamesy Forrest one, Sean, like everybody else, you're watching that game, the first thing you do is you scream for a penalty. You see the replay, you're thinking, right, okay, he is brought down. In terms of the referee's mindset then, Sean, give us your take on it.
When I saw it at full speed, zoomed out camera, my first instinct was penalty. But then when we see the replay from the other angle, I don't think it is. He's trying to run through two guys. They've got the positional advantage on him, and he's just kind of like, the guy's bigger, and he's just kind of went down. I don't, not to say it's a dive. I think he's just like being out muscled in a sense, and yeah, it's not a penalty, unfortunately, even though that was my first instinct. But when you see the better camera angle, it's not a penalty. I think, to be honest, I think Kevin Clancy, all the decisions he made were correct. The yellow card in the first, and look, it's pretty brave generally to give a yellow card in the first 2 minutes of a match, and he did. So, you know, give him that. The CCV one I thought was a yellow card. He's went for the man, not the ball. I think it's a yellow. The one I didn't get a good replay of was the Hibs penalty claim in the second minute as well. But from the really zoomed out camera angle, I would say it looks like it's bounced up onto someone's hand while the hand is at the side, which is natural position. But it's hard. They didn't have a good replay, so that one's hard to say.
The only thing I would say is the commentary team watching this game really need to know that it's all about sticking to the rules rather than, that's not really in keeping with the nature of the game. Because that's what they were saying on the offside VAR check with regards to the goal. It's such a great goal. Gets Hibs back into the game. Just let it stand. And I'm thinking, all right, if it's offside, surely it's offside, mate. You know. But that was their take on it, which I found a little strange. Stephen Sloan, you're back in. You made a comment on the pre-match. We are playing much better than last season. It's a joy to watch. So I will concede we are a better team. We still need to strengthen the squad, though. Oh, and that should have been a penalty, by the way. Yeah, we will debate that forevermore. George was convinced that he was offside for the goal, and so was Cardiff Carroll. And but if it was in the nature of the game, the goal would have stood Cardiff Carroll. No panic, says Danny Boy, in total control of this. I want to spend a wee bit of time, right? Two things. Liam Carrigan, your old pal from Celts Down Under, Sean, has been telling us for how long now? How long's Maida been at the club, right?
2 years.
2.5 years. 2.5 years. And he's been telling us he's a better striker than a winger. At what point do we concede that he might be right?
Well, the evidence for Celtic has not been the case, right? He's struggled up front before. But yeah, he looked good today. And I don't know, maybe it's just based on what's around him, right? But yeah, look, he did well. He's done well so far today. So I guess, is that bad news for Mikey Johnson? Is Maeda going to be? I just like Maeda as a winger, to be honest. I think he does a lot of good work out there, and you're saying better, which is of course making a comparison between winger and striker. We all agree he's a great player, and whether you think he's better than a winger as a striker, my personal opinion, slightly better as a winger. And I've always been happy with them as a third choice striker, and will continue to be.
Yeah, it gives the gaffer something to think about. We were talking before the game, Chris, about the fact that we needed another striker, and when he's been moved from the wing, I agree with Sean. I think you lose a wee bit because what he gives us down that left-hand side, and we know what he does in the derby games, etc. However, he might be that third choice striker, if you like, just by shuffling him inside. I would rather we did bring somebody else in, to be honest, but we shall see if that is the case. What's your take on it? He's had a great first half, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, look, I think it's a great option to have on either position. I agree with Sean in the sense that I think he brings something on the wing that you don't have elsewhere. And I think he's actually, from a defensive standpoint, I think he's the best winger we've got, because his ability to track back and support Greg Taylor, I think he's the only player in the squad that can do that at present. But I think, he's got that electric pace. We know that he gives players like Tavernier nightmares whenever he plays against them. But at the same time, he definitely has the ability to, I think, cover for Kyogo as an alternate forward. He plays in a similar manner, possibly a little bit more direct, uses that pace, but some of his first touch is actually excellent. His ability to bring the ball down and control it. I mean, the way he controlled that ball from Kuhn over the top was superb. And he's not afraid to throw himself in there as well. It's like I say, I view guys like Kyogo and maybe potentially Maeda. They're your kind of plan A strikers. They're the ones when you're on the front foot and you're playing, fast-paced, attacking football, I think they're good options to have. I think Ida brings something slightly different to the table. Ida's got more of an ability to draw defenders out, actually to play a bit deeper, to draw defenders out, and actually bring other players into the into the game, which we saw him demonstrate against Kilmarnock last year to such great effect. So I think we're in a good position in terms of our forward line, and I would love to see at least someone else get the opportunity. If that's a Francis Turley, at certain points throughout the season, fantastic. Would love to see it. If it's maybe we do bring in another player who is that third choice striker and is happy, maybe just to develop on the fringes, then fair enough. But I think Maeda gives the manager a good headache in that sense. And I think, the fact is that we need him on the wing, he'll play really well on the wing. If we need him to play up front, well, he's demonstrating that he can come in and do that job. I can't see a negative there.
No, I would agree with that. Let's go to the second half action. Hopefully we can see some more of the fast-flowing football that we saw in the first half hour of the first half. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. And thank you to Chris McElwain and to Sean Conley for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.